What if I told you that something as simple and ordinary as salt could be the answer to a heaviness you've been carrying inside your home? You know that feeling, when the air in your house feels heavier than it should, when arguments happen for no reason, when your sleep is restless, when your heart is anxious, even though everything looks fine on the outside. You clean, you organize, you do your best, but something still feels off, like a hidden weight is pressing on you, like a kind of invisible fog you can't explain. This isn't just imagination. In Islam, Allah teaches us again and again, there is more to this world than what we see. There is the seen and the unseen, and the unseen is real. The Prophet Muhammad warned us about things like the evil eye, envy, and the whispers of the unseen. These things don't just live out there. Sometimes they settle into the walls of your home, into your sleep, into your thoughts, into your peace. But here's the good news. Just as harm exists, so does healing. Just as there are things we don't understand, there are simple ways Allah has given us to protect ourselves. And sometimes that protection begins with the smallest thing. A handful of salt. Yes, salt. The same thing sitting in your kitchen. It's not magic. It's not holy by itself. It's not something to worship. But when you pair it with intention, with Quran, with remembrance, with trust in Allah, it becomes a tool, a sign that you are taking a step toward healing. You see, in our religion, action matters, but so does the reason behind the action. And when you take even a simple object from Allah's creation, like salt, and use it with sincerity and remembrance, it can change everything. Because the power isn't in the salt, it's in the dua that goes with it. It's in the name of Allah you say when placing it. It's in the peace you are inviting into your home. So what if one pinch of salt at your front door could stop arguments before they even start? What if a bowl under your bed could protect your sleep, calm your heart, and help you wake up for Fajr again? What if just sprinkling it in the corners could silence whispers, remove dark energy, and bring light back into your rooms? Not because of the salt, but because you turned to Allah while doing it. Because you didn't sit back and say, I guess this is how things are. You stood up, you acted, you prayed, you believed. This is what makes the difference. It's not superstition, it's spiritual awareness. It's choosing to fight darkness with light, choosing to use what's available to you, what Allah already created, to clean your home both physically and spiritually. And yes, something that simple, something that overlooked, like salt, can become a powerful way to say, this house belongs to Allah. His mercy is welcome here, and no harm is allowed to stay. You don't have to spend money. You don't need a scholar in your house. You don't need anything fancy. Just you, your trust in Allah, and a few grains of salt placed with sincerity. Because sometimes the answer isn't in something big. Sometimes it starts with the smallest step. One intention, one dua, one small act of remembrance. That invites the help of Allah into your life in ways you never imagined. Stay with me, because what I'll share next might be the shift your home has been waiting for all along. The entrance of your home. Start at the entrance, because that's where everything begins. This is the first place your feet touch when you return from the world, and it's the first place where whatever is carried from outside, energy, feelings, unseen things, enters with you. Every guest, every family member, every delivery, every breeze, it all comes through this one place. Sometimes it brings peace, sometimes it brings heaviness, and sometimes, without meaning to, people bring in envy, worry, or sadness just by stepping inside. That's why Islam teaches us to be mindful, even with our doors. The Prophet Muhammad said that when someone enters their home and mentions the name of Allah, shayateen are blocked. They don't find room to settle. But when you enter in silence, forgetting remembrance, you leave the door open. not just physically, but spiritually. Now picture this. You stand at your door, you say, Bismillah. You place a pinch of salt, not for superstition, but as a quiet act of faith. You've recited Quran over it, maybe just Surah Al-Falaq and An-Nas, then gently you place it at the doorstep, and as you do, you whisper in your heart, Ya Allah, this is your home. Protect it from what I can't see. Let only mercy enter. Let only peace stay. This isn't about salt having power. This is about your heart waking up. This is about telling Allah, I care about the energy in my home. I want this space to be clean, not just on the outside, but on the inside too. It's a small act, but the intention behind it speaks loudly to the heavens. Because when you guard the entrance, you're doing more than protecting a doorway. You're protecting your family, your rest, your peace, your risk. And you're making a silent declaration that says, in this house, Allah is remembered first. That small pinch could be the beginning of big change. The four corners of each room. Corners are easy to forget. They're quiet, still, out of the way. But sometimes, it's the places we forget that need the most protection. Corners don't just gather dust. They gather what we leave behind emotionally, arguments that didn't get resolved, tears that were hidden, tension that settled into the walls, fear that sat silently in the air, and according to many Islamic scholars, places that are dark, neglected and still, that's where jinn are more likely to linger. Not because they're looking for drama, but because they look for space. Space where there is no light, no dhikr, no remembrance of Allah, just silence and forgetfulness. That's why we were taught. Clean your homes, open your windows, let the Quran be heard in every room, even the corners. Now take it a step further. Go to each room, stand in the center. Turn your eyes toward every corner, not just to look, but to reclaim. Sprinkle a small pinch of salt, not ordinary salt, but one you've recited over, even just Al-Falaq, An-Nas, or Ayat al-Kursi, and say softly, Bismillah, Ya Allah, let only your peace and your light live here. Do this with presence, with sincerity. You don't need to shout, you don't need to rush. You just need to believe that Allah hears you, even in whispers, and you will feel the shift. You'll notice your sleep becoming deeper, your mood calmer, your thoughts lighter. Sometimes even the air will feel different, like it's been cleared. Because when you cleanse the corners, you're not just tidying the room. You're inviting angels to stay. You're telling the unseen, this space belongs to Allah, not to fear, not to whispers, not to shadows. A small pinch of salt, a quiet moment of remembrance, a big step toward spiritual safety. Under your bed or sleeping area, at night, everything gets quiet on the outside. But for many, it's the inside that becomes loud. The day is done, the lights are off, the world slows down, but your thoughts speed up. You close your eyes, hoping for peace, but instead you feel a heaviness in your chest. You shift around in bed. You feel a strange presence. You try to breathe deeply, but something just doesn't feel right. It's not the temperature, it's not the mattress, it's something deeper, something unseen. Some people wake up at exactly the same time every night, 2:59 a.m., 3:12 a.m. No sound, no reason, just sudden alertness, a racing heart, or a strange fear. And they ask, what's happening to me? I was fine all day. Why do I feel afraid only at night? Islam has already told us, night is not just a time to sleep. It's a time when the soul travels. The Prophet taught us that when a person sleeps, their soul partially leaves the body and returns when they wake. And in those quiet hours, when the world is silent and still, the unseen world becomes more active. Shaitan and his whispers become louder, not in your ears, but in your heart, making you doubt, making you fear, trying to disturb your rest, trying to stop you from waking up for Fajr, trying to block your soul from finding peace. That's why the Prophet gave us specific protection for the night. Recite Ayat al-Kursi before sleeping. Recite the last 2 ayahs of Surah Al-Baqarah. Say the evening adhkar. Sleep on your right side, facing the Qibla. Mention Allah's name on your lips before your eyes close. Because sleep is not just a break, it's a spiritual experience. And like every act of worship, it needs intention and protection. Now there's one more small action you can add, not to replace these practices, but to support them. Take a small bowl, fill it with clean salt, recite over it a short surah, a sincere dua, even just Bismillah. Place it gently under your bed or beside the area where you sleep. Not because salt has power, but because your intention does. Say softly from your heart, Ya Allah, protect my soul as I sleep. Guard me from every harm, every whisper, every fear, seen and unseen. This bowl is not a charm, it's not superstition, it's a symbol, a small reminder that your home is not abandoned, that your sleep matters to Allah, that your rest is something sacred. And when you begin to take these little spiritual steps, something starts to shift. Your dreams become lighter, your heart becomes calmer. That uneasy pressure in the middle of the night, it fades. You wake up not drained but refreshed. And more beautifully, you begin to wake before Fajr without effort. Not because of an alarm clock, but because your soul is being pulled gently toward the one who created it. This isn't a trick, it's spiritual hygiene. It's recognizing that just as we clean our bodies before Salah, we also clean the spaces where our souls rest. Under your bed may seem like nothing, just darkness and silence, but even there, energy can gather. Even there, protection is needed. Even there, Allah's name can bring light. So let that space be more than a sleeping area. Let it become a space of peace, a place where angels hover and shaitan cannot linger. A space where your body rests and your soul rises, drawn closer to Allah in the quiet of the night. Because when you protect the place where you sleep, you protect your dreams, you protect your emotions, you protect your spirit. And slowly, your nights will become calm, your mornings will become purposeful, and your heart will feel safe again, all from one small act, one bowl, one dua, and a heart that truly deeply trusts that Allah is enough. Kitchen, or where food is stored. The kitchen might look ordinary, just shelves, spices, pots, and a stove. But in the eyes of a believer, it's one of the most sacred spaces in the home. Because this is where rizq lands. This is where Allah's provision descends into your life, day after day, quietly, faithfully, without fail. It's more than just cooking, it's more than just feeding. It's a daily reminder that Allah is Al-Razzaq, the one who provides, and every grain of rice, every drop of oil, every loaf of bread is written for you, and only you. But maybe lately you've noticed something strange. You go grocery shopping, but the food doesn't last. You cook meals, but no one really enjoys them. The dishes are filled, but hearts feel empty. There's tension in the kitchen, people arguing, snapping, feeling tired. Even the act of preparing food has started to feel like a burden instead of a blessing. You wonder, what changed? I'm doing the same things, so why does it feel so different? And the answer may not lie in the fridge. It may lie in the spiritual energy surrounding your kitchen, because just like dust can settle on your counter, envy, stress, and negative energy can settle in your kitchen. Sometimes it comes from outside, people who've seen your home, your meals, your blessings, and their eyes carried envy. Sometimes it comes from within, from stress, tension, ungratefulness, or simply forgetting to remember Allah. The Prophet taught us that barakah doesn't just come from what you have, it comes from how you treat it, and the kitchen is one of the first places where that barakah is tested. So here's something simple you can do, not to replace the dua, but to strengthen it. Take a small jar or bowl of salt. Sit with it for a moment. Recite over it Bismillah, Surah Al-Falaq, An-Nas, Ayat al-Kursi, or whatever surah you feel connected to. It's not about the salt, it's about your heart while you recite. Then place that jar in your pantry, behind your stove, or near your food storage area. Tuck it away quietly. Now pause and say, Ya Razzaq, bless this food. Remove any harm that comes with it. Let it nourish our bodies and fill our hearts with love. Put barakah in every bite and protect us from what we cannot see. And from that moment, treat your kitchen differently. When you cook, do it slowly, with calmness. When you stir, let your heart say, Alhamdulillah. When you season, think of it as preparing rizq that came straight from the heavens. When you serve, do it with love, not stress. When you eat, remind your family to say Bismillah, not just out of habit, but out of gratitude. And then watch. You may begin to see small changes. The food may taste better, even though the recipe is the same. People may laugh again during meals. Stomach aches fade. Leftovers last longer. The same groceries somehow stretch further, and the kitchen begins to feel lighter, warmer, more alive. This is barakah. It doesn't show up like lightning. It whispers into your life slowly, until you realize you feel full, even before the first bite. Because Allah doesn't just fill your fridge, He fills your heart. He places peace in the air. He puts mercy in your hands as you prepare. And it all begins not with a new recipe, not with a new appliance, but with a small bowl of salt and a big heart that turns to the one who never stops giving. That's real risk, and it starts right here, in your kitchen, with remembrance, with love, with Allah, balcony, windows, and airflow areas. The wind is quiet, gentle, and often unnoticed, but it carries more than air. It carries presence, it carries movement, and sometimes it carries the unseen. Every home has openings, windows, balconies, air vents, cracks in the walls, places where the outside world enters. Sometimes it's just sunlight and air, but other times it's something you can't name. A heaviness, an unexplainable mood, a shift in the energy of the room, one you feel even if no one else sees it. In Islam, we're taught not to fear the unseen, but to recognize it, to prepare for it, and to protect ourselves through remembrance. The Prophet taught us that shaitan moves like the wind, subtle, fast, unseen. And while we can't close every spiritual door with bricks or locks, we can close them with dhikr, Quran, and trust in Allah. Have you ever noticed how in some homes the moment you step in you feel relaxed, safe, calm, and in others, even clean, beautiful homes, there's something off, a tension, a heaviness. Sometimes it comes and goes, other times it lingers. That's not always about how the house looks. It's about what's moving through it. Windows and balconies aren't just for light, they're spiritual gateways. They're where the outside meets the inside, where what flows in, seen or unseen, can affect your home's mood, your sleep, even your rizq. So what can you do? It starts early, after Fajr, before the noise of the world wakes up. Open your windows, open your balcony doors, let the fresh air in, let the light pour through. Don't do it mindlessly, do it with purpose. As you do, take a pinch of salt. Recite it over with any surah that brings peace to your heart. Surah Al-Falaq, Surah An-Nas, Ayat al-Kursi. Even just Bismillah if that's all you can say. Place it gently on the windowsill or in a small dish near your balcony's edge. Nothing big, nothing dramatic. Just quiet, clean, intentional. Then whisper, or even just think in your heart, Ya Allah, allow only your mercy to enter here. Block every harm, every whisper, every energy that doesn't belong. Let your light fill this space. You might not feel anything immediately. You might not see anything change, But over the next few days, you'll begin to notice rooms feel lighter, arguments reduce, the strange restlessness near the windows, it softens. The same spot where you always felt off now feels peaceful. This isn't superstition. It's spiritual hygiene. It's the act of taking your unseen protection seriously. Just like we lock our doors at night, we guard our homes with dhikr, salt, Quran, and trust. When you place that salt near your window, you are silently saying, Ya Allah, I am doing my part. Now I rely on you to do yours. You are turning your windows from potential entry points for harm into gateways for rahmah. And slowly, day by day, your home begins to breathe again, not just air, but peace, barakah, divine calm, the kind only Allah can send, on the breeze, through the light, and into the heart of your home. So the next time you open your window, don't just feel the wind on your skin. Feel it on your soul. Because with a little salt, a few ayahs, and a heart full of intention, even the wind can become a carrier of Allah's mercy. Outside the bathroom door, yes, even here, especially here. The bathroom may seem like the least spiritual part of your home. It's where you brush your teeth, wash your hands, clean yourself, just a normal, functional space. But in Islam, it's treated with serious care, not because of what it looks like, but because of what it represents in the unseen world. This is the place where purity leaves the body. It's where we're exposed, physically and spiritually. It's a space the angels do not enter, as the Prophet, peace be upon him, taught us. And it's a space where jinn gather, especially those that are drawn to impurity, filth, and forgetfulness. That's why our beloved Prophet, peace be upon him, didn't leave this space out when teaching us how to protect ourselves. He gave us a dua, simple and powerful, to say before stepping in. Allahumma inni a'udhu bika minal khubthi wal khaba'ith. O Allah, I seek refuge in you from the male and female devils. He didn't just teach us to stay clean physically. He taught us to be mindful of the unseen, even in the quietest, most forgotten spaces. Now, imagine how often we enter the bathroom in a rush. No dua, no thought. We wash, we leave, we move on, unaware that this small part of our house can become a passageway for spiritual discomfort or even harm. Have you ever felt strange restlessness for no reason? Random irritation? Intrusive, repetitive thoughts that make no sense but won't stop? Or even a kind of mental fog, like your mind won't quiet down? These aren't always physical or emotional. Sometimes they're spiritual symptoms. In these moments, our homes, and especially our vulnerable spaces, need a layer of spiritual defense. So here's something very small, but powerful. Take a small bowl or dish of water, add a little bit of salt, just a pinch, then recite over it, anything, even just Bismillah. But if you can, take your time, Surah Al-Falaq, An-Nas, Ayat al-Kursi, words that chase away what you cannot see. Place this bowl just outside the bathroom door, not inside, not in the middle of the path, just quietly at the corner of the threshold, where intention meets action. And when you place it there, say from your heart, Ya Allah, let no harm pass through this door. Let this be a protected space. Keep impurity, seen and unseen, away from my home, my mind and my peace. This bowl won't sparkle. It won't make a sound, but the energy around it will shift. You may notice fewer intrusive thoughts, a softening in the atmosphere, a clearer headspace, and a strange peace in a place you used to overlook. This isn't magic. This isn't a ritual. This is remembrance. This is care. This is saying, Ya Allah, I want every corner of my home, even this one, to be filled with your protection. We protect what matters to us, our phones, our cars, our doors. Why not our bathroom, where the unseen is active and our defenses are low? Because the one who guards even the smallest spaces is showing Allah that they are serious about peace, serious about purity, serious about trusting Him with every inch of their life. And when you do that, when you bring His name into the places people ignore, He brings barakah into the places you forgot, peace into your routines, light into your privacy, mercy into your quiet moments. The salt isn't the protector, it's just a symbol, a way of saying, Ya Allah, I remember you, even here. And when your home is remembered by Allah, the shayateen flee, the angels come near, your thoughts calm, your soul rests. Because even the smallest places, when guarded with dhikr and sincerity, can become sources of light. Your prayer space, musalla. Your musalla is not just a rug, not just a quiet spot in the corner of your room, not just a routine place for motions. It's your heart's sanctuary. It's where the noise of the world begins to fade, where the clock stops ticking in your mind, where your knees hit the floor and your forehead meets the earth. And for a few sacred moments, nothing matters but Allah. This space is where your secrets are whispered, where your pain is poured out, where your soul speaks without words, where your eyes cry without shame, and where you feel what no one else can see, closeness to your Creator. But Shaitan knows this. He knows the power of this space, so even here he tries. He distracts you with thoughts of unfinished tasks. He pulls your mind away from your surah and into your phone. He whispers laziness into your limbs, makes you yawn at the second Ruqyah, and tempts you to rush what should never be rushed. Because if he can disturb you here, he can weaken your strength everywhere. That's why your musalla must be treated with intention, with honor, with protection, not just physical cleanliness, but spiritual respect. One day, stop and really look at it. Is it dusty, cluttered around the edges? Has it become just a spot instead of a sanctuary? It deserves more than that. This is where your soul connects to the most merciful. So clean it with love, sweep it, wipe it, organize it, not for show, not for anyone to see, but because you know who is watching. Now, take a small pinch of salt, one you've recited over, a verse, a dua, even just Bismillah. Place it quietly in the four corners of your prayer space, not in the middle, not where your forehead touches, but gently along the sides, near the walls, the baseboards, or just beyond your prayer rug. This is not ritual, it's not superstition. It's a symbol, a gesture of presence, of saying, Ya Allah, make this space pure. Guard it. Let only angels enter. Let Shaitan find no path here. If you have rose water or non-alcoholic perfume, spray a little. Let the fragrance lift your soul, because sometimes beauty softens the heart. A calm space invites a calm spirit. Then raise your hands, even just for one breath, and say, Ya Allah, let this be my doorway to you. Let this be my peace, my focus, my healing. Let nothing distract me when I come here. Let no shaitan enter. Let this place be full of your light, your mercy, and your closeness. You don't need to see anything change. You don't need a sign, but you might feel it. The floor will feel softer, the air lighter. The moment your forehead touches the ground, you may feel like you've come home. The confusion that used to follow you into prayer, it fades. The laziness, the wandering, the dullness, they begin to lift. And suddenly, one sajda becomes more powerful than 1,000 words. Not because of the salt, but because you showed care, because you treated that prayer space as sacred, because you chose to create a space where your soul could breathe again. Your musalla, when guarded with love, remembrance, and trust, becomes more than a space. It becomes a shelter, a light, a place of rebirth. And maybe, just maybe, in that small space, in that quiet sujood, you will whisper the prayer that changes your life forever. Not because the room changed, but because you did. You chose to give that space meaning, and Allah, Al-Latif, the most subtle, chose to meet you there. So never underestimate the corner where you bow, because sometimes the smallest place in your home can be the most powerful place in your life. This was never really about salt, not at its core. This was always about you, your heart, your awareness, your willingness to say, Ya Allah, I want to protect the space you've given me. Salt is simple. It doesn't speak. It doesn't shine. It doesn't call attention to itself. But in the hands of a believer, with intention, remembrance, and trust, even the smallest creation can carry great meaning. It's not the salt that moves what's unseen. It's not the grains that chase away darkness. It's your sincerity. It's the fact that you cared enough to act, to bring Allah's name back into the forgotten places of your home, to say, even in silence, I want light to live here. I want peace to return. Because you see, homes don't just need walls and furniture. They need presence. They need remembrance. They need to be guarded, not just from break-ins, but from what breaks the spirit, from envy, from whispers, from the slow heaviness that builds when we stop inviting Allah into our daily spaces. Maybe you didn't even realize how tired your home had become, not physically, but spiritually. Maybe your living room carries the echo of arguments. Maybe your bedroom holds too many restless nights. Maybe your kitchen is filled with tension instead of gratitude. Maybe your musalla has become rushed, distracted, forgotten. But the beauty is, you can change that. And not with big things, not with expensive things, but with one small act of sincerity. A pinch of salt, a bowl placed with care, a quiet dua, a soft recitation, a heart that believes even when the eyes don't see. And that's the point. Barakah doesn't shout, it whispers, it settles gently. It comes when you honor the unseen, when you say Bismillah, and trust that Allah is listening, watching, responding. So I ask you now, of all the 7 places, which one calls to you? Your front door, the corners of your room, under your bed, the kitchen where your children eat, the windows where the wind flows in, the bathroom door that you always walk past, or the prayer space that has been waiting for your attention? Start with one. Start with the one your heart pulls toward. And say, Bismillah, I begin with Allah. Write it in the comments. Let your intention live not only in your heart, but in your action. And don't stop there, because someone you love, a friend, a sibling, a parent, is carrying a heavy home too. They feel tired, disconnected, spiritually stuck. They may never say it, but their soul is quietly hoping for relief. Be that reason. Share this message. Let it reach the one who needs it, the one Allah may have already prepared to receive it. Because sometimes, a video isn't just a video. It's a sign, a solution, a lifeline, a door. And all it takes is one act of trust to walk through it. You don't need to see the angels to know they're near. You don't need to hear a voice to know Allah responds. You just need to act with yaqeen. So may this be your start. May your home become lighter. May your sleep become sweeter. May your thoughts become clearer. May your heart become softer. And may Allah bless every space you live in with His light, His peace, and His infinite barakah. Subhanallah, your home has been waiting for this moment, and now it begins.